ARADIA Beat TGIF The 90s Kickstarter has launched. Get your fill of 1990s nostalgia and Magical Girl comics and activities by making your pledge today. Tiers as low as $5 or as extravagant as $45. That gets you all the goodies. Save yourself from boredom with the power of love and friendship. Kickstarter links are down in the description. Now, let's jump into the intro. People, welcome to the channel. I'm the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon, and this is an art-related channel where I talk primarily about my free, not safe for work webcomic, Dark Horse. The links are in the description for that. But I also talk about other projects that I work on, as well as art, independent projects, independent art, comics, webcomics, things like that. This is an adult channel. It's targeting an adult audience. And this week I wanted to make a little bit of a shorter video because some of them have been getting kind of up there again, where I had like a 45 minutes or 42 minute some odd video, and then I had like a 22-minute video last week. So I just kind of wanted to chill and step back and do a little bit of a shorter discussion regarding what project I'm trying to start focusing on now, since I've been slowly catching up with my buffer. I'm actually a couple months out on my buffer for Dark Horse for my patrons and Subscribestar member. So in the background, what you're viewing is me working on an image of my character Karin Blu, who is featured, or we're introduced to her, I should say, in Dark Horse Act 4, Transition. This year I'm focusing on completing the edits for that so that I can get it into PDF and send it off to the copyright office. I was trying to do like an act a year. I wasn't able to do it last year. I was too busy. So while I'm doing these Saturday night streams over on Twitch, it's just something that I kind of want to do as like it's a chill stream mostly, where I have a little bit of music in the background and I talk a little bit, but it's primarily just kind of like an art with me thing where I want to get work done. I don't want to like do it in like a negative light where I'm rushing. It's just kind of a chill thing that I do on Saturday nights, and people can join if they like. I guess I could put my Twitch channel down in the description. I've only got like one video up there. I've only streamed like twice, maybe 3 times, and 2 of those videos one I didn't save, and the other one I took down because I had the radio playing in the background, and even though it was public radio, I guess I had like copyrighted songs, so I didn't want to chance a copyright strike on my first video, y'all. Okay. So yeah, what I'm working on in the background, when I do the Dark Horse acts, I print them off on 5x7, but I am essentially creating the biography page for Karin Blu and each of my acts, and I don't know if I should really show those pages because I try to like reserve that for the hard copy and the PDF only. But suffice it to say, I do a character biography where it's just a single page at the end of the comic book as kind of like a little bonus for people who buy the hard copy of the comic. And then I have like a preview which follows that biography of the character. And for Act 4, Transition, I decided the character biography should be Karin because it's our first introduction to her, but we're not gonna really get to see her again until the act after Time Warp. I'm gonna have her in that once I finally have finished with the revamp and can get the story moving forward. You know, I've already completed Time Warp, but it's leading up to actually meeting some of these characters who are trying to reform civilization after the end of the world. Or not the end of the world, but, you know, after the plague has wiped out a lot of people. And we're focusing specifically on the Pacific Northwest in Dark Horse, as well as some of my other series. But eventually the characters are going to be traveling west, and we're going to see a little bit of what's been going on in other parts of the world. But that's way in the future. I'm nowhere near being done with Dark Horse. But I thought it would only be fair for me to go ahead and put a biography of her in this specific copy, because we've already got Rena, we've already got Kana, we've already got Odysseus's biographies, and I'm not quite ready to have any of the other characters' biography in here. I really think it's important that I put her there because as is focused upon in Act 4, she is, you know, kind of one of the people who hangs out with and works in the government with Kana. Kana, as we'll learn later on, and not just in the series, but mostly in Seishin, when I get to that, the second series after Dark Horse, we're going to see that, like, this trio of women, Karin, Rina, and Kana, although Kana is the queen, they're kind of the three that are fighting against some of the, not even really elected officials. It's kind of weird how because, like, I need to, like, build how I'm going to be doing this in the comic, but essentially the government fails and the country kind of, you know, loses contact with one another. But because a lot of people are kind of congregating, a lot of the survivors are moving to the Pacific Northwest because that's where Kana, the healer, dwells. We want to, you know, for various reasons, want to get out there because they know that the government is starting to reconstruct there. That isn't to say that things aren't also happening out east, or in the Midwest, or in the South, or in the Southwest, other parts of the United States. But the point is that a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of the survivors have been congregating out there around Kana, who has been set as a figurehead by some of these people who are essentially self-appointed government officials. I need to decide whether or not there's been voting yet or not, but these are just kind of the leaders who have come together and are trying to reorganize the country. And they're doing this on the shoulders of Kana and kind of propping her up, but they don't really have her best interest at heart. And it's Rina and Karin who really do have not only Kana, but also, like, their own ideas on how the country, or at least that part of the country, should be restructured now that we have an opportunity, now that the original governmental structure has involuntarily been broken down. This is a good opportunity to rebuild the nation in a more idealistic way. But at the same time, there are still, you know, the old heads, the old vanguard, or whatever you want to call them, people with their ideals on how they want to restructure the government. And so when we get into Seishin, I want to, like, we're going to get a lot more of Karin. We're going to get more of Karin in Dark Horse also. It's just taking time because I'm slow. I'm not a very good writer. I'm working on pacing. It's slow. But I like to take my time so that we can kind of get to know the characters a little bit. And that's maybe a little bit of an excuse, you know, for how my writing is. It's not the best, but it is something that I'd been, like, focusing on as we progress the story. I'm trying to be better at, like, pushing the story forward while also giving us characterization. And to be quite honest, things have been kind of moving very fast. Once we get to the future, I mean, and I know things are running slow, but also if you think about it, all of these acts for the girls, like from Act 1 to all the way up to Time Warp, is only like a matter of like 3 days for them. So it's several acts for us. I've been very careful to put timestamps, but it's a lot shorter of a period of time for them. So they really haven't even gotten a chance to breathe since they ran into Odysseus that fateful day after school. Yeah, I wanted to kind of do a little biography on Karin because we're going to be reintroduced to her, and it's going to be in the present, and it's not going to be Odysseus's, you know, I think she gets like maybe a couple sentences, you know, in transition. She's actually, we're going to see, and I don't think this is a spoiler because Renshaw and Rowena and Rowan have already expressed that Karin is currently the president. She's the one who's taken over after all hell broke loose with Kana being possessed, and you know, Kana was in the government. She was the figurehead, and so it's kind of like Karin and these other people who were close friends with Kana, who and people who didn't even know Kana too, I should say. They're trying to build this resistance against Keisuma and regain control over their country, essentially. And we're gonna learn a lot more about Rowan and Rowena and Renshaw and what their intentions were too, because it's kind of, right now in the story, it's intentionally blurred on whether or not they're good guys or bad guys, but they're constantly talking about how they serve the real queen, and that, you know, Karin is, you know, would not approve of this, and blah blah blah. Although, as we see, they had been affected by Keisuma. Even after that, in Act 4, they were still not siding with Keisuma. They were kind of acting as double agents, and that's not, I mean, that's evident in what they've been saying, even though Odysseus points out the hypocrisy of Renshaw willingly using Keisuma's powers in order to achieve his goals. A lot of that is going to be explored a little bit more once we get into the present day, which are in the acts following Time Warp. So we'll finally be in the post-apocalyptic future. Not gonna lie, it's gonna look a little bit like the Ewok village in Return of the Jedi, because I want tree houses, okay? We're gonna have tree houses, damn it. But anyway, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Karin, and that's why I'm working on her in the background, because we really haven't seen much about her. We've heard her name dropped a couple times, we've seen her in Act 4, but I'm excited for her to finally get some screen time, so to speak, and, you know, we'll actually be able to... It's not just, you know, like her through somebody else's telling and experience. We're gonna see her as a person existing and living, so I'm really excited about that, and I've got a lot of plans for her in the future of the series, but that's all I'm going to talk about right now. Like I said, I wanted this to be a shorter video, so I hope you all enjoyed the sketching, and I will be back next week with another video per usual. I'm not sure it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be longer or shorter, but yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you know, leave them down below, and otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Peace and love, fare you well, and keep on trucking. Also, don't forget to check out ARADIA Beat. Keep on that until the Kickstarter's done. You're gonna get sick of me, I'm sorry. Bye.